Welcome to the Fitness Business Podcast, brought to you by Active Management, the world's leading fitness business coaches who in 2015 will help you #grow your business. This is the world's #1 podcast for fitness business owners and managers. We interview real owners and learn what has been working for them to make them so successful. Here's the host of the Fitness Business Podcast, Chantal.
Thanks, Harper. Welcome to you all. We are once again for another week of the Fitness Business Podcast. This week's show is all about giving back. It's about how you, your business, or the business that you work with can really make a difference to others through more than just the fitness services and the facility that you provide. Today's guest is Christine Thalwitz. Christine has been immersed in the health and fitness industry for more than 20 years. She's the Vice President of Marketing at ACAC Fitness and Wellness Centers. And through that role, she provides leadership for strategies, tactics, and resources that support revenue growth, member acquisition and retention, and the delivery of ACAC's promise to help others live their best. Christine oversees market research, advertising, promotions, communications, public relation, and media coverage across the company. Now, during today's interview, Christine is so generous with the information that she shares. Not only does she tell us about how to truly connect and understand our customers, she also gives us key insights into ACAC's 30 Days for $30 program, a market-leading initiative that has seen them produce outstanding results for the business and for people within their community. Before we head into that interview, don't forget our November prize giveaway. We are giving away a copy of the Mike Michalowicz book, Profit First. So to hear about how you can win, make sure you keep listening until the end of the show. That's it for the intro, guys. Let's go straight over to my chat with Christine Thalwitz from ACAC Health and Fitness Centers. Okay, Christine, so how about we start off? Do you want to tell us a little bit about ACAC? Because it is a fully functioning facility, but I believe that you decided to differentiate yourselves. So do you want to tell us about what is so different about ACAC compared to every other gym in the USA?
Absolutely. And we have a few different types of gyms. We have 10 sites. We are in Virginia and Maryland and Pennsylvania. And so we have a few facilities that are about 60,000 square feet. We have a few that are more in the 100 to 120,000 square foot range. And then we also have some smaller satellite locations. But regardless of the size of the facility, what we really try to do is target the interested and active individual. So we have set up our facilities not just in a programmatic sense, but from the ground up. Our design, the colors we put on the walls, the team members that we bring in, the ambiance we create is really designed to target that interested but inactive individual. And within that population, we also very much try to attract older adults and families. And that's not to say that we've turned our back on the crowd that already loves to work out. They're kind of our bread and butter. We certainly bring them to our doors as well. But we just make that extra effort in everything that we do to reach that audience.
Okay, Christine, so what was it that first inspired you to target that interested but inactive customer?
Well, it might be funny. You might not realize this, but I actually am my target market. I would probably have termed myself an interested but inactive individual growing up. I know we haven't met, but I have fair skin and dark hair. So when I exercise, I don't just blush that pretty light shade of pink. I get bright red and splotchy and I sweat. And if you can imagine me as a teenager, that was absolutely mortifying. I was terrible at sports. And so when we had to exert ourselves in gym class, I either wouldn't dress out or I would have to hide in the locker room for 20 minutes afterwards and be tardy to my next class because I was so embarrassed. I had to wait for my face to cool back down. And that's the kind of thing that I think we as fitness professionals need to realize. We have all this going on in our head before we are even thinking about fitness and exercise and getting healthy. You kind of have to get out of your own way first.
Absolutely. So tell me, when did you make the move to kind of have that focus, or has it been like that since day one?
It's been like that a very long time. Phil Wendell, who's the owner of ACAC, opened the first ACAC in 1984. And I think by his own admission, he would say at that time, ACAC really was just another gym. And it wasn't until the 1990s that this buzzword wellness started to surface. And he thought, I'd like to do this because what I feel like there's a market for is a place where people who are not currently exercising want to go. And he knew, just looking around at all the different clubs, that the blaring music, the feel of being in a big power lifter, weightlifter environment was going to intimidate people. And we actually have something that we teach our new team members to, which is called the 5 fears. And we educate them on, here are 5 frames of mind that individuals might be coming to us with. Perhaps they have a fear that they're going to not know anybody at the club, that maybe there's this thinking that everybody at the club already knows each other and is great friends and I'm not going to fit in. Or maybe they feel awkward on the exercise equipment, or they feel like a klutz in class, or they're afraid that they're going to get those high pressure sales tactics that the industry used to engage in. Or maybe they just have physique anxiety and they don't want to put themselves on display. We teach the team members to put that frame of mind on, so when we're greeting new members and integrating them into our facility, we're being sensitive to the mindset that they're in when they come see us. I think it was funny, we did a study with some of our team members a few years ago, and we asked them to personally bring in somebody who hadn't been exercising and introducing them to the facility. The number one question was, what do I wear? So they weren't even worried about the exercise. It's just like, what do I wear to this type of place? And it just really brings you back to that square one of when somebody's embarking on this journey to begin working out and walking into a gym. What other things are going through their mind versus what I'm going to exercise? There's a whole bunch of other things they're already thinking of.
That's such a great example, Christine, because I think also often we are in the business of fitness. We quite often just have our own mindset of how we feel about exercising and how we feel about going into a gym without actually taking that time. And that's a great example of how you can look at things through a potential member's eyes.
Yes, because we'll walk into and look at a floor and say, oh, there's a hip sled, there's a bench press, there's a Smith machine. The other person walks in and thinks, oh my gosh, am I in the Middle Ages, torture room? Where have I landed? So we try to be very sensitive to that. And one of the things that really differentiates us too is the PrEP program, which is our physician referred exercise program. And it's a 60-day program. We charge $60. These patients come to us via physician referral, and our commitment to them is for that 60 days, we're going to train you twice a week. We are going to give you full club access so you can experiment and try classes, but at the same time, we're going to do exercise 101 with you and just start from that square one, get you comfortable with exercising. And at the end of 60 days, maybe they'll continue on their own. Maybe they'll stay with us. That's our hope. But at the end of the day, at the end of that 60 days, we feel like, okay, we've gotten this person a couple steps on their journey towards integrating exercise into their life.
It's such a nice way to ease people into it, especially when they're coming from being referred from a physician as well.
Yes.
Yeah, really nice. Okay, Christine, so what have you found to be the results on membership and income and profitability since you've really nailed in this focus for the business?
Well, by adopting these particular target markets, we're basically an uncontested market space. And we always refer to the book, The Blue Ocean Strategy, is because a lot of other clubs across the world really are still really only targeting that very already active, physically fit individual who has no fear, who is ready to come jump up and down and do all kinds of really strenuous exercise. And there's not many clubs who are really earnestly making efforts to reach out to this population. And again, designing their facility from inside out, thinking of everything from what size bath towel are we giving these individuals when they go into our locker rooms? Do we have enough space for people to comfortably maneuver between machines? How many mirrors do we have around the room? Are we playing rock music and blaring music out our speakers? One of our funny things in our club that people are surprised is we don't play any music over our speakers. We figure that's why we all have iPods and earbuds. We just don't play music because it's such a personal thing. And if you think about it, every type of music gives out a particular vibe or message that maybe you're not meaning to give out, but you're really selecting a very tight demographic when you're broadcasting music. There's a certain type of person you're attracting with that playlist.
Absolutely. It's really interesting. And you talk about, building the club from the outside in and thinking about the customer's point of view. It's even reflected in your website. When I was having a look at the website, you really have thought about the customer so much in the design, in the layout, that type of thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No, it's really, so I have not visited the club, but I assume that's that consistency running throughout all of those areas.
Yes, and that's front of mind when we do our new team member launches. Anytime we're doing continuing education, we try to walk through the club constantly with that eye towards, are we really doing everything we can to roll out the welcome mat for everybody who wants to be in better shape.
It's really interesting, Christine. I think it was in around show 6, we had Dr. Paul Bedford, who is the retention guru. I don't know if you caught this show, but we interviewed Dr. Paul Bedford, and this was one of the big areas that he talked about. He kind of said there are just so few places that are focusing on the demographic of people that, aren't necessarily exercise junkies and aren't the ones that are getting along and working at high intensity all the time. And he kind of identified that as such a market with opportunity, I guess you'd say. So it sounds like you guys have really capitalized on that and found that market.
Thank you. Yes. And one of the things I think that Paul Bedford has really made apparent to the industry as well is that we have to build relationships and we have to talk to individuals. I think one of his studies was if you just talk to people a few times a week, your retention automatically goes up. So it's, making sure that nobody is anonymous in your facility, that you learn them, you know who they are, you connect with them, and that they'll be more likely to stay and enjoy their time with you.
Yeah, exactly right. And it's funny you talk about the whole not having music in the club, because I would imagine you're right. Like, people obviously have their iPods and stuff like that they're listening to. But if they don't, how much easier is it just to say, hey, as you're walking past them, or, to start up that conversation?
Yes. And one of the things that's unusual, I think, with ACAC as well is we have many social spaces within the club, and we actually plan social spaces within certain areas of the fitness floor. We have a health quest circuit where a lot of our prep participants and other individuals who want a little more supervision as they go through their workout can go, and we have couches set up so that members can talk to members can talk to team members, and it's just a very natural flow to have this seating in the middle of the fitness floor. And it's great because that's where people connect.
That sounds really cool. Now, listen, let's have a chat about, I believe that you guys do some pretty cool campaigns each year for fundraising, for raising money. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, our most successful campaign to date has been what we call our 30 Days for $30 campaign. And the idea first came about in 2009. We were celebrating our 25th anniversary, and we were all sitting around and brainstorming ideas of how could we celebrate 25 years, because 25 years in the community is a fabulous milestone. And I think what came out of our conversation was really the highlight of those 25 years is the relationship we've developed with the community. So we thought, what better way than to adopt a charity? And at the time, since it was 25th anniversary, it was 25 for 25. So we did 25 days for $25.
Yep.
And so we invited anybody to come into the club, and they could receive a 25-day membership for $25, and that $25 would go to the charitable organization that we had selected. And we did it the first year, and it was great. And then we did it again the next year, and it keeps growing. And every time we run it, we think, is this going to be the time that the bubble pops? But it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And last March, we did a campaign for the Alzheimer's Association. All the clubs had adopted that organization, and we raised $83,400.
Oh my God, that's huge. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, if you divide it, at this point we were charging $30 because we've passed our 30th anniversary. Yeah. So it's 30 days for $30. But if you do the math, you can see how many people came through our doors.
Yeah.
And the time before that, we had all adopted food banks, and it was $77,000. And so it's something that's grown and grown. And we've experimented a couple different ways since we have so many locations. Sometimes we all adopt the same organization.
Yep.
And then other times we sort of break up and do the really local. I think that was kind of our experiment is, do we pick a national charity? Do we go hyper local? But they've all been very successful, and it's been a great way. I mean, at the end of the day, the charity is really happy. The charity gets a nice influx of support. People get to try a gym and see what it's like to work out for 30 days. And then, of course, we get to meet all kinds of new people who maybe we wouldn't have met otherwise.
And what do you find the flow-on effect is after that 30 days for the business?
Well, we have found that with everybody who comes in, about 25 to 30% will convert into what we call an APM, or an annual paying member. So it's a great driver through our doors to meet potential members. And, at the end of the day, for those who didn't join for whatever reason, it's somebody who at least has met us and knows us and now can go out into the community and say, oh yeah, I've worked out there and I like the people, I like the classes, the aquatic center is beautiful. And so it's just a win for everybody.
Absolutely. It sounds that way. And how do you tend to find the current members respond when you run the promo?
Well, we do, recommend to them, bring your friends, bring your family. This is a great time for you to bring in your workout buddies and your support system. Bring them in and let them try it out if they're not already members. And so it's been a great way for them to get coworkers, family members who might not otherwise have come try.
It sounds like everyone involved is really supportive of the initiative. So do you think that's why it's worked? Because the current members, the staff, the people that are introduced through the program, do you think that's why it's worked? Or is there another kind of key to the success of this formula that you've got?
I think that's one of the linchpins is that everybody just feels really good about what we're doing. And then at the end, to see what you've done and what you've raised and how everybody was a part of it is really something special.
That's brilliant. Okay, so I guess the thing is, if we then are thinking about other people across the globe who are really keen to do something along these lines but just don't know where to start, because obviously you were talking about having the brainstorming session, and this has been an idea and a concept that has developed over time and is hugely successful now. Can you give us maybe some advice on where people could start if they wanted to do something similar?
Sure. There's actually many things I think an organization should consider before they embark on this. Mm-hmm. And first is, does this promotion, does this campaign, is it an alignment with your brand and your business? And I think it's really important to think, do you have the core values of your business already outlined? For us, we have 5 core values, and one of them is community. So it was a very obvious fit. This is something that we're engaged in and day out, trying to reach the community. So this was a very natural extension of our core values. And I think that's important for a business to really frankly consider and say, is this something that is in our repertoire? Is this a core value? And then also the cause that you select, does it resonate with your audience? You don't want to be mismatched, and it doesn't mean that you have to adopt necessarily a fitness related charity all the time, but just, is there some sort of organic tie-in? So, sometimes we've picked literacy organizations, but again, we target families. We have lots of kids in the facility. So it's not a stretch to imagine us partnering with this. If you were to partner to say with a fast food chain, that could set up some problems. So again, it's just thinking about who are you partnering with, and does it resonate with your audience? Does it make sense? Is it an alignment? And then, is the program meaningful? For us, again, it's creating that win-win. The charity wins, the person wins because they get to work out and feel good about donating. We win because we get to meet all these people and to also support a charity. Also, is this partnership or initiative really going to stand out in the marketplace? Are you going to cut through everything else, or are you just a cookie cutter of something else? You want to make sure that it's going to stand out to the consumer. And then also, have you scaled it properly to the expectations of the program? So those are the sort of the framework. And a lot of it relates back to one of my favorite authors is Denise Lee Yon, and she wrote What Great Brands Do. Mm-hmm. And she said, great brands execute their brands. So if this promotion is you executing your brand, it's going to be a win.
If I was to ask you what are the 3 key factors to really make it successful, or is there anything else that you would plug into what you've already described?
Yes, I think nuts and bolts, you want to make sure you pick a really great partner, a great charity. And to go a little bit deeper into that, we look to partner with organizations that are pretty transparent with how they handle their money, so that we know when we're donating to them, we kind of know, okay, what percentage of what we give you is really going to go to this cause versus behind the scenes. Because I think when people are donating their money, they want to know, where is their money going? So I think that's important. Also, to find an organization that has a strong network, whether it's social media, contacts in the community, the more well-connected. And it doesn't necessarily mean that organization has to be big, but how well-connected are they to your organization? Because really what helps propel this campaign is their participation and their involvement. So you want cheerleaders, not just within your own club and your own membership, but you want that organization to be really pitching it and driving people to it as well. And then the third thing I would say is tell stories while you're doing it. So you don't want to just throw the sign up, 30 days for $30. get your hands dirty. For some of our organizations, with the Literacy Foundation, for example, we had team members go read to the kids, or we hosted reading time in the club, or if it's a group that's a food bank, going and volunteering at the food bank. So again, get your feet wet, get your hands dirty with the organization, and don't just sit back and raise the money, but actually get involved and tell the stories of that organization. So those are, I think, some really key things to dig into the campaign and really make it something that people want to stand up and support and also listen to.
Okay, so tell us about, as we're progressing with the actual campaign, and we've kind of taken on board that advice that you've given us in regards to the setup, the structure, and those key factors to make it successful. What are 3 things maybe to be aware of as you progress down the road with the campaign?
One is to keep listening throughout the campaign. Again, especially if you're publishing content online, you just pay attention to the feedback, because you may need to adjust your course, and maybe there's different stories that people want to hear, different stories you can share, photographing along the way, again, just making the noise, telling the stories. Also, quality control. So if you are anticipating that you are going to have a flux of people into your club for this campaign, it's a really great idea to step back ahead of time and say, okay, what kind of extra infrastructure are we going to need? Do we need more people at the front desk, so suddenly there aren't lines of people, or that, people are waiting too long for membership? Do we have enough equipment in our classes? What type of, control do you need to put in to make sure that you're providing an excellent experience like you do when you're maybe not subject to a flood of traffic? And so the third thing would be, as you're promoting and publicizing your campaign, it's great if you can involve TV or radio or print ads. All of those things are great, but really social media is possibly your most powerful tool in this, because if you can get everybody to share videos and share photos, you can boost your posts on Facebook. The more sort of buzz you can create online, the better.
And what online platforms does ACAC use?
We primarily use Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And then we have our news blog feed on our website that we push from, and we are sort of making our Google Plus profiles a little more robust at the moment as well.
Excellent. Christine, overall, is there any kind of major advice that you would pass on about executing this type of campaign?
Yes. Well, all of the previous points are definitely very important. I think the preparation, the planning, the actual execution and implementation, all those things are really important. But really, at the end of the campaign, you need to stop and celebrate what just happened. And that's something that we really try to make sure we do. We have a party for your members and the guests, or have a party at the charitable organization, celebrate it, publicize it. It works especially well if the charity will take on that role, if they will send a press release to the media, if they will contact the media. That always works really well. So that's the main thing, is to stop, recognize, realize what just happened, and celebrate it.
Christine, it sounds like the success to these campaigns are reliant on many pieces of a big puzzle to come together. Is that right?
Yes, there are so many important parts to be played. And again, it's relationship building and connecting with people and working together to support one another. And that's really the backbone of this whole program. And so all of those individuals and pieces and parts should be coming together.
Excellent. Well, look, I encourage everyone to jump online and check out both your website and the Facebook page, and Twitter, of course. So we'll make sure that we put all of those links in today's show notes. I want to say thank you so much, Christine, for coming along today. I thoroughly enjoyed hearing about the success that you've had with the business, the targeting that you've done with the business, and also about the 30/30 campaign. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
The Fitness Business Podcast is very appreciative of our podcast partners. Here's a quick word from one of our partners.
As you know, our goal at the Fitness Business Podcast is to help you grow your fitness business. So I love it when I can tell you about new products, programs, and solutions to help you do just that. Our show would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. And one of those awesome sponsors is Visual Fitness Planner. But before I tell you more about them, let me ask you these questions. What is your membership closing percentages? What percentage of your members at the point of sale sign up for a complimentary orientation session? What percentage of your new members actually show up for their complimentary orientation session? And most importantly, what percentage of your membership buys personal training? These are the numbers that you have to be asking yourself and measuring every single day. As the old saying goes, if you're not measuring your numbers, you're not managing your numbers. A club's set show close numbers are significantly improved because of the Visual Fitness Planner. The VFP provides a turnkey system for marketing, capturing, and integrating new members into a healthy lifestyle change. The VFP automates your existing sales, marketing, and orientation systems with the power of its visually impacting technology. VFP calculates a person's health risks for diseases, it predicts their health age, it creates a before and after 3D image of their body, and calculates how long it will take to achieve their goals. And in this process, increases your membership and personal training sales and overall member retention. To check out more about the VFP, head over to their website at myvfp.com.au. And of course, a copy of that website link is in today's show notes. As you know, each month we give away a fantastic prize to one lucky listener, and this month is no exception. This month, we're going to be giving away a copy of the Mike Michalowicz book, Profit First. Now, in case you missed it, I interviewed Mike in show 24. So if you did miss it, go back now and check it out. Okay, to win the book, all you need to do is subscribe to the show notes at any time in November. Simply head over to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. On the right of the homepage is a space that says subscribe to show notes. Leave your name and email address and you're in the draw. Do not miss out on this amazing book.
It's time for the Fitness Business Podcast Wrap.
I hope you're all feeling really inspired after my chat with Christine Thalwitz from ACAC. She gave us some great advice on our customers and connecting with our customers, as well as how to really get started on our own charity campaigns or community-based initiatives. She said to us that it's important to see the gym through our customers' eyes, to take the time to understand what are their fears when first considering joining a gym. She said, take every aspect into account, from bathrooms to bath towels, layout to music, and website design. It is essential to truly understand what your customer wants and build your club from outside in. Now, when it comes to those charity campaigns, she said, before embarking on any campaign, ensure that the campaign forms part of your company's core values. She asked the question, does it resonate with your audience? Is there an organic tie-in? Things to consider is this partnership going to stand out in your marketplace? It's really important that you pick a great partner or a great charity. And it's also a great idea to tell stories. Get actively involved in the charity that you're supporting. And Christine gave those great examples of staff volunteering in kids' book readings and helping out the local food bank. Remember, for more information on ACAC health and fitness, just check out the links in this week's show notes. That's it, guys. Thanks for joining me for yet another week of the Fitness Business Podcast. I wish you all a very happy and successful week ahead. If you've had any of your own experiences with a charity or a community-based initiative, I would love to hear about it. I'd love to share it on the show with other listeners so we can all learn from each other. Just remember, you can email me at any time at chantal@activemgmt.com.au. That's it for another week, guys. Remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.
You have been listening to the world's #1 podcast called the Fitness Business Podcast, brought to you by Active Management. We are dedicated to helping your fitness business #grow in 2015. Check out www.activemgmt.com.au for resources, tools, and more to help you. And by far, the best value for you is to become a member. So join today at www.activemgmt.com.au.